You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
Welcome, everybody. Okay, so I have a special guest today. I am not going to be teaching today. I have delegated this task to somebody else, and that is my husband. So I got an email actually today from somebody, and he was like, you always talk about acquisitions and you always talk about funding, but you don't talk about management a lot. You know, you should talk more about management. So obviously in my company, I don't really do the managing. My husband does the managing. So now in our mastermind, in the Storage Nerds mastermind, my husband, his name is Pete. He is the coach. He basically teaches for everybody. So there's a lot of management teaching going on and coaching in the Storage Nerds mastermind. And then also on Fridays is when my husband opens up his schedule and he does one-on-one coaching calls with all the students. Okay, so we actually have people that do join Storage Nerds and they already have storage facilities and they're just like, I want to know how to manage my storage facility better. And so they join, and in that way they can partake in like talking to Pete, you know, one-on-one and getting his insight. Now, he just did for the mastermind, not last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before, I think he did a whole session on revenue management, dynamic pricing and revenue management. So I'm not, I'm not 100%, what he does is he teaches, like he comes in and he teaches for that. So I'm not 100% sure what he's going to be teaching on today, but he's going to be teaching on management and how to manage your facilities better and just kind of go over some of the things that he's working on in his business. So I think it'll be really cool. Now, so just a quick reminder while we're getting started that Storage Nerds doors are open, and they're open for the next couple of weeks. I only open my doors to the coaching program 3 times a year, and I only open them for 2 weeks each time. So so what we do is you just if you go to storagenerds.com, then you will get access to my calendar. And then you'll go through like an application funnel, and then you'll get access to my calendar. So if you're interested in talking to me about getting in the coaching program, now is the time, because if you, now is the time because the doors are open. Okay. And let's see what else. And then you could just tell me kind of what you're looking for, and I'll tell you what Storage Nerds is about and if it's a good fit or not, So really that's kind of what we're doing over the next 2 weeks. Just another quick, and the coaching program ranges from, everyone said, how much is the coaching program? It ranges from $1,000 to $20,000. So it really depends on what your goals are, which program that you'll choose. So, I try to come up with a good coaching program where everybody can afford it. So that's basically it. So it's $1,000 to $20,000, depending on what you're looking for. And then if you can't afford the $1,000, because I have talked to several people, just I can't even afford $1,000, then obviously you're not ready for the coaching program. You're probably really not ready to buy a storage facility, but you can wholesale some storage facilities. All right. And I do teach wholesaling quite often. In the coaching mastermind, and then also through my course. So I just wanted to let y'all know that, and I apologize if you could hear that airplane, but I'm in an RV, so you can hear everything. But yeah, so if you want to learn how to wholesale, or if you want to DIY storage investing, some people just want to do it on their own, then look at my course. It's called Super Simple Self Storage. All right, it's less than $1,000 for that as well too. Okay. Let's see what else. Yeah. And also I will be pitching my fund right after this. So if you're somebody that wants to do passive investing, which there are a lot of people out there that just don't want to do anything except for just passively invest, then please, come and hop on my pitch, which is stacyrossetti.com/fund, FUND. It'll get you access to our pitch, and then also to the fund as well too. Okay. So those are kind of my 3 top things. Just a quick reminder to everybody that that this becomes a podcast, right? So there is the Storage Nerds podcast. So thank you to everybody for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. It's growing very fast. And then on top of that, this also gets put, like, this will, for the podcast, it'll get put on YouTube as well. So you'll have access to this as well there. Okay. Okay. All right, good. So everybody's slowly starting to come on. I appreciate it. I was just telling you guys, everybody before y'all came on, that my husband, Pete, will be teaching tonight. The famous Pete. I actually have a husband. He's doing all the work. We do find them, fund them, run them, right? I find them, right? Actually, my acquisitions team finds them, and then they fund them. Sorry, they don't fund them. I fund them. I'm the money person. I'm the one that gets out and looks for all the money. And then we run them, and my husband, Pete, and all his team manages all of our facilities. We have 11 facilities right now. We're definitely going to be buying several more this year. We're already on the hunt, looking, raising money, and buying more facilities, bigger facilities, right? So we're moving on up, and we're going to be buying bigger facilities this year, which is kind of exciting. And then you can check us all. You could check me out. Just Google Stacy Rossetti Teaches, and you can see us and everything that we do everywhere on the internet. Okay. All right. So welcome to the team. And yeah, we already have some questions from Glorious. She says, how do I go about finding storage facilities for an investor who's looking? Can I do this as a wholesale deal if I'm a realtor? Okay, so it's very, very hard for you to wholesale as a realtor unless you are, I don't know where you're hanging your brokerage license at. So you need to talk to your broker and see if it's okay for you to wholesale. Definitely you can wholesale, but you just want to make sure that you're with the right brokerage company, and some of them are stricter than others. And typically investor friendly, you want to be working with an investor friendly broker if you want to be wholesaling real estate. Okay, so talk to your broker about it first and make sure that you can do this. And then what you're going to have to learn is you're going to have to learn how to find them and fund them. So that means hopping on Monday night sessions. I teach every Monday night, or getting the course and learning how to analyze those deals, right? So that you can present the deals to the person that's looking for them. Okay. And basically you're doing all the things that everybody else is doing, except for when you find a deal, you're not going to buy it yourself. You're going to wholesale it, or you're going to present it to your buyer. Okay. That's really what you have to do. And actually I go into that really a lot in the course as well. So if it's something that you're interested, I would check out Super Simple Self-Storage. And then also just don't forget is that we have the Facebook group, Super Simple Self-Storage, as well. So you can always post your questions there and ask me, and Ariel and I are there, and we will answer any questions from anybody as well. So if you need help, that's where you can get a hold of us too. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So I'm going to pass this over to my husband, Pete, and he's going to be going into self-storage management and like everything that in an overview of how managing your facilities looks and kind of dig into that today. So
yes, thank you everybody. My name is Pete. I'm on the one that runs everything after Stacy does the acquisitions. So she wanted me to go over a little bit of the management aspect of it and what we do on our end. So it'll kind of be like high level stuff, the basics on setting everything up. And it looks like there's a Q&A session or section down there if you can find it. If something pops up, you could type it in there, and if we have time, I'll get to it either as we're going, if it pertains to what we're talking about, or I'll try to get to it by the end if we have a few minutes. But I'll start with the management part of everything. So, once Stacy gets it under contract and we're about to close on it, we need to have things set up and ready to go. And one of the first things, one of the most important things we have now is to set up is the website. So that just think of the website as, your virtual store. It's going to let people know how to contact you, what you have to offer, and all that stuff. Let me see if I can share my screen. There we go. So our company, misslillians.com, will have its website here, and you can kind of see the locations we have in Georgia, locations we have in Florida. So whatever you're looking for, you should be able to find a unit. So we can, we've got the main phone number here, so you can contact us, the address, of course, some photos of what the place looks like, and then what you have available. You can, we don't typically show the pricing right on this page. People should look for what they're, what they want. Then they can click the move in button, and that'll take them to the, how they actually move in. So the website is probably the first thing you should get set up, because it's, really the only way people find you these days. With that being said, the website, when I say website, I kind of mean your whole online presence. So, setting up your Google listings, making sure you're listed everywhere online. And then, your website should facilitate the move-ins. It should have all your contact info. It should have a space for your tenants to review you, so you can track your reviews on here as well. We've got them popping up on the bottom here. And then they kind of scroll through. They pull that from our Google listings, and then they list it on here on the website. The next thing that we typically set up is the phone system. So for phones, you need to be able to actually talk to the people that are renting from you, right? So you got to set up a good phone system. I would not recommend, using your cell phone to do all that stuff. It can get out of hand and intrusive quite quickly. If you're answering on your cell phone, that means you're the only one answering it. So, if you're sitting down for dinner, you're at a soccer game with the kids, whatever you're doing, if it's your cell phone that's doing all the work, it's going to interrupt your life. And that's what Stacy and I try to avoid. We want to try to automate as much as we can. We don't want to be, bound to our work. We want our work to work for us. So we try to, get everything in a way that we can manage it from a distance, if we even do need to manage it. So getting a good phone system set up is key. So at first, it was just me answering the phone, but I knew we would be expanding. So I went with company on screen now, Grasshopper. They're affordable, and they have all the options we needed. There are plenty of different options out there, but everyone likes to know what we use specifically. So we specifically use Grasshopper. At the time, it was the best one I found. Startups are happening all the time. There might be ones, that'll save you a couple bucks. Maybe they're better, maybe they're worse. I don't know. But we use Grasshopper. What I like about Grasshopper that you can see down here, once you've set the phone number up, you can get it sent to your phone. So it'll actually just ring your carrier. If you're with Verizon, it'll ring your Verizon number. And then you'll know it's your storage facility calling you. It'll show up on the caller ID, and you'll be able to answer it appropriately. But if you don't want to answer it on your phone, like with me, when I'm working on the computer, I like to do everything through the computer. So I download the Grasshopper app on the computer, and then I could just take and receive calls right from my laptop wherever I'm at. I don't have to, use my phone. I could just do it over the Wi-Fi connection. Oh, and it's not going to log me in. but it's just a regular phone interface on there. And the cool thing with that too, you can get the app on your phone as well. So if you don't want to use your carrier data, you just want to use Wi-Fi on your phone or your tablet or iPad, whatever it is, you can download the app and make and receive calls as usual, just over your internet connection. It doesn't have to go through your carrier number. So that's what I liked about Grasshopper. They have a couple different plans where on the highest plan they have, because of just the number of lines that we have with them. But you can get started for free. I think they give you 2 weeks free, something like that. Here we go. So you can get a phone number, talk and text. You can get a local number. You can get a toll-free number. So you've got all those different options. But you can have unlimited users at the level I'm at anyway. You may be limited on the number of users, but I think I don't see the pricing. Maybe it's $79 a month. You get unlimited everything. So you can get a toll-free number, a regular number. You can get unlimited users and unlimited extensions as well. So what those extensions do, the first thing we use with extensions is when they call that main number, you get the phone tree, which is, like press 1 to get the Noonan location, press 2 to get the Fayetteville location, however you get it set up. So they'll press 1, 2, or 3, whatever it is, and that'll direct them to the correct location. Now, once it's in there, you can also have your team members have extensions as well. So, I might have extension 101, my office manager might have 102, however you want to set it up. But each individual team member can get an extension as well, on top of each location having an extension. And it just helps you manage everything better. So once you've got all that set up, you could set up call rules as well. So right now we have a few people answering the phone for us. I have somebody Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. I've got somebody on the weekends, just Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5. And then I've got an after hours call center set up as well. So within Grasshopper, I say, okay, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, you ring this phone number. Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5, you ring this phone number. And you can group them as well. Rules can overlap each other. So if you have, a huge facility or maybe multiple facilities, and you have 2, 3, 4, 5 people answering Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, you could set up those rules to ring multiple lines at the same time. So you have that flexibility with Grasshopper. The other thing people normally say is, oh, well, can I just get a Google phone number? It's free. You can, but you don't have that flexibility you don't have that control over where everything can go. So definitely a paid for service is going to have way more options. And I think Grasshopper just starts $29 a month, something like that. But yeah, shop around, find what you need it to do. For me, those are the things I need it to do. The voice over internet was important to me because, sometimes we go out of the country and, my landline or my cell line isn't going to be working, or I'm going to pay an exorbitant roaming fee. So if we're overseas, we're in a hotel, I just hook up to the Wi-Fi and then I can make and receive calls as needed. Same thing, I have some team members out of the country as well. So when they log in, they're not using their cell phone, they're either using their tablet or their laptop. They log into the Grasshopper app and then they can make and receive calls all day for me and not have to worry about carrier charges and things like that. They just hook up through their Wi-Fi. There we go. All right, so that's the phones. And then also with that too, we could transfer within the company. So if I pick up a call and I say, Bonnie's can handle this better than I can actually just transfer it to anybody within our Grasshopper account. That's why I said we all have lines. So if I need to transfer it to Bonnie, I hit Bonnie's extension. I need to transfer it to Stephanie or whoever it is. I just type their extension and the call gets transferred to them, and vice versa. If they call up and maybe there's a maintenance emergency, they can ring me direct and then just you have two options. You can announce the call. So if, usually when Bonnie's transferring a call to me, and like it's an emergency or something, she'll talk to me first. She'll say, I've got such and such on the line. Maybe they're stuck inside the gate isn't working. I'm going to put them through. So she'll let me know what's going on first. She'll hit the button, and then it'll actually connect me with the tenant, and I'll have a heads up on what's going on before we get connected. And then if you implement like an after hours call center, you still maintain control of your phone number. You could just set up a rule to where they get those calls at certain times, or however you want to set it up. After a certain number of rings, maybe it goes to them. So that's how we set up the phones, and that's what's important to me. I need to be able to access it multiple ways. All right, the next thing we talked about, website and phones, is the facility management software. So this is going to be your main interface with your tenants and your money. So the facility management software should be able to handle payments for you. And what all the facilities that we get, they're mostly just all managed on pen and paper. They're not automating anything. They're not taking credit cards. They're just cash payments, maybe checks come in. But this is what the facility management software looks like. We use Store Edge, and this is their demo version of it. They have a demo facility set up. So Store Edge is what we use in-house. And we went with Store Edge just because of the sheer number of things that it does. I'm not going to get too into what sold us on it, but the thing that basically had me choose this over the other ones is the delinquency management. So this will actually handle the auction process in this software. So when I go over these other items that I'm going to go over today, you're probably going to say, oh, hey, Pete, I heard, ESS does that, or I heard whatever other company does it. I heard they do those things as well. Yeah, they might, but Store Edge still handles the auction process the best. It manages everything from start to finish for you. You can see where they are. And then it was the best solution for that. And if you're not auctioning units and they're just sitting there full of junk and not getting paid on, you're not making money. I mean, when we buy facilities, when it was 115 units, 100 of them were full and only a dozen of them were paying. So we asked the guy, we're like, what is going on with that? And he says, oh, I've never run an auction. If they just stop paying, I put a lock on it and I haven't emptied any of them out. So some of that junk in there was, from some of his first tenants in the late 80s. So, I mean, he wasn't making money on those units. So, I have to get dumpsters. I have to empty these units out. And then we start making money on these things. So to me, the auction process was important because when we're buying facilities, that's the number one reason why they're not making money, is because they refuse to empty units out and do auctions. So I was like, all right, well, we're not going to fall into that trap. So that's why I went with this. But the things that are important that the facility management software has to do is it needs to be able to communicate with your tenants first and foremost. So if we go into tenants, we'll just choose some random tenant in here. Whoever that is. I'm sure these are all fake names. It's just the demo account. But just in case, please don't call anybody. So basically from here, we've got their email address, we've got their phone number, we've got their physical address. If they have a driver's license, we'll get that on file as well. And the thing I like about that, in the documents tab, you can upload, what their documents are. Webcam JPEG, yeah, so it's just some, but if they sent you a ID, you can upload it into their documents, and then we'll have a picture of their state ID right there. If we want to text to them, you can just hit this text bubble and it will send them an SMS. It looks like the last one that went out is your gate code is 404. So you can send out gate codes. If we don't have a copy of their ID, you can just type in there, send me a copy of your ID, please. And it is an SMS, so you can get, or MMS? I don't know. It's the one where you can get pictures. So we can get pictures in this. And we can also send or receive pictures. So down here on the bottom, you can see where it says attach image. So we can actually include something for them. If they leave trash in the unit or something like that, I might send them a text and say, hey, were you coming back to clean this up, or should we charge you? So having that ability all within the facility management software is key, because Grasshopper can do all that, but it's not logged into their account. So when I go into here in the history, let's see, where are we at? History. So it'll show you every phone number or every phone call, every email, every SMS. Oh, look, SMS. So it must be a fake number. So SMS failed. So it'll keep track of all of that, all within the tenant's profile. So if you tell them, hey, we sent you the auction notice on this date and you replied to it, and we have a phone recording of you and us talking about it, it's a lot harder for them to dispute stuff. So this will actually record the phone calls when they come in. It'll it keeps track of the emails going back and forth. It keeps track of the text messaging going back and forth, and it's all assigned to the tenant. So if you have any issues with the tenant, you just log into them and you can see it all. Let's see. All right, communication, phone, SMS, emails, and then the income management as well. So the other thing too, when we buy facilities, there's a lot in collections. It's because they don't make it easy for their tenants to pay. So if you go here to payment methods, you could put in, they can do ACH or they can do a card payment in here. So, and you could set them up on reoccurring payments as well. So for us, we do billing on the 1st of the month. Some facilities will do anniversary billing where they pay, if they moved in on the 10th, they'll pay on the 10th each month. We just do payments are due on the 1st. So on the 1st, if they're on auto pay, it'll run their card automatically. I don't have to worry about it. It just all happens. And then it'll give you a report of which cards didn't go through. That's what these task list on the side is over here. So it'll give you tasks for the whole facility. And they must have a lot because it's taking a long time to load up. So on the demo site, I'm sure a lot of things are happening. So let's see. Oh yeah, look, they don't have any. So it would say, in delinquency, those are the people that haven't paid. It tells you who to overlock, who to send certified mail to, who's in the auction process. It'll show you emails that bounced 100. That's not good. SMS failed, SMS received. So it'll show you all the SMS that came in. Oh, look, see, do you have any 10 by 10s available next month? So you can see track the communication, track the payments, and then reporting as well. You've got all the reports you're going to need in here. So you can see the rent roll, notes as if you've typed in notes. You can kind of see what has been in there. You could do a walkthrough checklist. This is for when you're actually on site and you want to do a walkthrough. It's the things that you should be doing, right? So it'll let you know which ones are supposed to be overlocked, which ones are supposed to be vacant, which ones are occupied. And I don't know how many units are on here, but oh, it was relatively quick. See, like past due, and it'll say it needs an overlock. So when you're walking through, you'd say, oh, this unit A007 would need an overlock. This one needs an overlock. It'll tell you their past balance, how much you're paying each month, So it's just the quick essential stuff you need for when you're doing a walkthrough of the property. So that's pretty neat as well. It'll give you financials, so you can pretty much learn anything you want to about your financials with all these reports they have in here. And the neat thing too, you could schedule these to be automated and just come to your email, on whatever schedule you want. You say at the end of the night, every night, I want an occupancy report. So like if you want to know who came in and out of the gate, you can hit gate access and then generate that report. You could set a schedule for that and it'll come to you however often you want it. What's the other things on here? So obviously you get the units. You can make a map, and then this map is shared with your tenants. But the map is a quick and easy view for the operator to see what's going on. So the red ones means they owe you money. Green ones mean it's ready to rent, and blue is your favorite. Blue means it's occupied and they're paid up. So that's what you want to see, a lot of blue ones. But when the tenant moves in, they actually get sent an email, and all these will be white except for theirs will be colored in so they know where to go. You could see the groups of your sizes of 5x5s, 5x10s, 10x10s, and this will break it up into groups, just a different view of the same thing. And then you have the walkthrough view as well. And then with us, everything needs to be, all online. So we don't have anyone on site, like taking contracts and, handing them to the tenant and saying, sign here. All of that stuff is done online. So when you want to add a tenant, super tenant, you would just create a new tenant and it would put their name in there, super tenant, and you walk them through the process. You just take all their information down. You find out which unit they want to rent in here. They want to move in today. And you basically follow this step by step. It'll take you to the move-in, the review. It'll actually send them the documents to sign. And what we've started doing now is saying, do you have email access on your phone? Check the email I just sent you. And they'll say, oh yeah, I got it. Go ahead and click that link. Read through the contract. If you have any questions, I'm here for you right now. Let's just get it signed. So they'll actually sign it right then and there. Once we get the green light on our end, it'll actually say, tenant has signed the contract. We'll hit the next button and then we'll take their payment. So we've got the signed contract, we've got the payment. And while they're doing all that too, we say, hey, while I'm getting all this in the system, go ahead and take a picture of your ID and just text it to us real quick. So we've got all their information sent to us. All the contract is signed, they've made their payment, and that's when we would give them access. So we say, okay, now that you've signed your contract, we've got you paid up, use code 1234 to get into the gate, and your unit is unit number 24, whatever it is. So we try to automate as much of it as we can, and pushing it all to online. The more you can automate, the leaner you can run, which can mean a multitude of different things. You can have lower rates for your tenants, you can have higher profits for you, however you want to do it. But with all the technology we have today, there's no reason to be running inefficiently. There's software out there that can do it. You just have to find the right one. So personally, we use Store Edge. I've told you why I use it. There are a lot of them out there, but just ask yourself when you're going to use, looking at them, how much time is it going to save you? Are you going to want to be answering the phone while you're trying to have dinner with your kids, or maybe you're at a concert and your phone's ringing and somebody wants to move in. It's can your system handle that, or do you have to handle that? So that's why we've got all this put in place. Looks like we've got a few questions in here. All right, do you use electronic locks at your facilities? We don't. There's no need for us to do it. So we've got smaller facilities, typically around the 100 or less mark. So to implement all of that, I mean, I don't even have electric at some of my facilities. So there's ways to get around that. Combination locks are my new best friend. So I use combination locks for everything because that eliminates a key, because a person needs to turn a key. Anybody could put a combination in. So if I need a tenant to open a lock, I just give them the combination. They can open the lock. So that makes it easier on me. So there's tricks on how to automate things, even if you don't have electric out there, or these, fancy Bluetooth locks on your doors. Some of our facilities still have a manual gate. We don't even have an electric gate there. We just do what we can with the facility we have. And then the next question was, what does StoreEdge cost? I believe it's $150. Don't quote me on this. I would say call them up. We've got to contact Jennifer Alphys. I think we could probably share it later on or in the chat or something. She's my go-to person over there. She's great on getting you set up and things like that. But I think now it's $150 a month for the facility management software. And then if you want to do your website through them as well, they can do that, and there's seamless integration with it. Or depending on what you want. I mean, even just a website you build, if you're competent. I mean, there's a lot of templates out there you could use now. So you could probably do it yourself. We've hired a guy. His name is Guy. He handles our website for us, just because the number of them that we had, it was more cost effective to go with him. But yeah, he's great looking websites. I think so anyway. Since your facilities are unmanned, how do you hand the tenants their locks? We don't. We use combination locks for everything. So typically we don't provide the lock for them. So they provide their own lock. But in problem areas, if you have break-ins and things like that, the disc locks are the most secure out there. If you don't have the fancy Bluetooth electronic ones, but on a regular style door and lock system, the disc locks are the best out there. They're the hardest to cut, and the few times we've had issues, break-ins and things like that, it's never been on a disc lock. It's always been on those cheapo padlocks. So if you have a problem facility or you're in a problem area, that might not be a bad idea to just offer them the lock at move-in, and then they can get it that way. And with that too, I'd say use a combination lock if you're going to go that route. Just put a combination lock on there and leave it for them and say, this is the combination to it. And then most, these things, you could reset them themselves. So just send them the directions on how to reset the code, and they could set it to whatever they want. I mean, the lock is theirs after that. So that's how I would handle that. But yeah, so locks, we found ways around that. We use combination locks for everything. So we talked about the facility management software. Shorthand, that's the FMS, facility management software. The other things, so that helps you with your tenants, right? And then once you start growing, you're going to have a team. So you're going to have to start managing your team. And what we've started doing with that is Microsoft Teams. I don't know, I could probably open up ours. But yeah, we use Microsoft Teams now. And this helps us effectively communicate with each other with it. So I've got a maintenance guy out in the field. I've got an office manager. I've got a few people answering the phones. So basically, we have different teams in here. So I've got a management team, I've got a maintenance team, and I've got a customer support team. So within maintenance, we have each of our locations. And then we also have in management, whoops, we just have general. This is basically just me and Bonnie in there. And then in customer support, whoops, We'll have general announcements and frequently asked questions. So basically, the latest thing we've gone over is basically we sent out a whole mess of rate increases this time around. So for the guys answering the phone, guys and gals answering the phone, I put on here, a quick little response for them to say when people call up saying, why is my rent going up? What's going on? So we give them something to say. And then in the management group, we have a more in-depth thing that me and Bonnie can go through. If they email us back, we'll just send them something a little more in depth on what's going on. But so this is a great way to manage communications with your team. So you could chat back and forth just typing. You can call audio only, or you can also video call. And it's also video conferencing as well. So, just like Zoom, you can share your screen. You can invite other people in. You can create meetings, times, things like that. And then in the maintenance side of things, what we've started doing in Teams that I like is they have tasks by planner. And you can create these tiles. And within these tiles, you can put things to do. So, over here, we've got it labeled auction units, and he's got 1, 2, 3 units set for auction on here. So once he's taken the pictures of those units, he can check them off, and then we know he's done with them. And then, they give you different buckets. So there's a walkthrough bucket, a repair bucket, and a completed bucket. So it looks like unit 23, we have to find and fix the leak, and it's assigned to our maintenance guy. And then unit 61, we need to replace the lock shackle and replace the spring. And this is how we keep track of all those things. Store Edge, our facility management software, kind of does this, but not as well. So once we got all these facilities under us, it was more effective to manage it this way than within Store Edge. If you were on one facility, heck, we were at, I think, 8 facilities by the time we switched from Store Edge to this. So Store Edge does this all right. It's just that now we have so many facilities. We're up to 11 now. It was just a little easier to manage everything within here. So that's why we've done that. But even the communication part of it, and I haven't implemented this yet, but we're actually starting. There's a plug. You've got all these different add-ons. You can add, apps within Teams. You can add in there. And one of the apps is a shifts management app, so you can clock in and clock out right within Teams. So once your team grows, you've got multiple people under you, and you want to start tracking when they clock in, when they clock out. And it's a great idea to track how much time you're working in your own company as well. So even use this yourself, but you can clock in and clock out and track all of that. And then Shifts will keep track of all of it for you. Are the combination locks a physical lock, or is the combination lock built into the locking system? Yeah, so we use all, little manual. Actually, I think I have one. Let's see. All right, so DaVinci has a good locking system. They're a bit expensive, but they work fine. It's kind of like the DaVinci lock, but it's not painted and fancy. But yeah, so we use just combination lock like that, and we slap them on the units if we're overlocking somebody. Even on the clean units, we'll lock up the clean units so people don't throw trash in them and things like that. So we went over the website, how it's going to help you move in, do contact info, get your reviews on there, get your listings on Google and whatever other search engines you want to use. You need to set up your phones, not only for yourself. You got to think ahead. Other people are going to be answering it. You're going to be on vacation. You're going to be sick. So you're not going to be able to answer the phone 24/7. So get a system that will allow you to forward or have other people at least answer the phone for you. And we use Grasshopper, and that allows me to set up times and rules on when and where it should go. And that's why I chose Grasshopper. The facility management software, we went over that. So basically, it needs to be able to handle payments. It needs to be able to handle communication with your tenants, and it needs to simplify your life. If you can't figure out how to run the thing, it's if it's introducing chaos to your life, it's probably not worth it. Storage is pretty straightforward. That's what we use. Not only does it do all those things I need it to do, it also handles the delinquency stages and auctions. So that's why we went with it. Number 4, I must just get some sort of file sharing system set up. Google Drive is great. So like if you need to keep track of lock combinations, you'll have a Google Sheet where you keep track of lock combinations you can share with your team. Now that we're started using Microsoft Teams, we're using, I think it's OneDrive, whatever the Teams version of Google Drive is. But yeah, we're using that now. We're kind of switching everything over just so it's all in one place. And then we set up Microsoft Teams to manage, communication between our team members. It's going to start tracking our clocking in, clocking out. And then it's also a great way to track what we're fixing, what needs maintenance, and what we're doing at each facility for our boots on the ground person. So I think, is that my time?
Mm-hmm. That's
all
your
right,
time.
so that's all I got. In a nutshell, anyway, that's what we do.
Well, there's a couple of questions, so I just want to make sure we get all that. All right. Other than that, so I wanted to bring Pete on today and just give y'all a little taste of like the management portion of Storage Nerds. And Pete goes like really, really deep into like how to manage and how we manage all of our facilities. So if you didn't get your questions answered, make sure that you set up a meeting with me so that we can talk about you getting into Storage Nerds. Okay. And other than that, I think that's it. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging on. I'm going to jump right into the to pitch the Self-Storage Fund of America pitch right after this. So we're going to get off, and then if you guys want to come hang out with me, you're more than welcome to come hang out with me there. It's stacyrossetti.com/fund, FUND. Okay, that's how you get into the fund pitch. Okay. All right. Take care, everybody, and we will see you next week. All right. Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.